Our findings were consistent with previous research in chronobiology, and that is that these imposed time zone boundaries have serious impacts on health. This has been demonstrated with diabetes, heart disease, cancer, even dementia. Really, highway fatalities are just the newest malady to be discovered by our research. It really is just adding to an existing research base within chronobiology.
The clear policy implication of our research is that time zone boundaries in the United States should move east, or at least that communities in these eccentric time localities start their school and work days at 8:30 a.m. rather than 8 o'clock. We also hope that this research drives the final nail in the coffin for the case for daylight saving time, which exacerbates this circadian deficit by a full hour for almost 8 months out of the year. In summary, we hypothesized a problem based on established theory. We looked for it, and we found it. Therefore, you can see from our summary conclusions that our results were entirely consistent with chronobiology theory. Specifically, Dr. Karen Johnson of Springfield, Massachusetts, concurs that when people don't have that morning light, they are not going to be as effective drivers. They're going to suffer from microsleeps, lapses in judgment, lapses in attention, and overall slower reaction times. So chronobiology is strongly supportive of our results. You can see the higher death rate, the excess deaths on America's roads, the years of life lost, all support the science of chronobiology. We're very happy now to take.
You can ask one. Okay. So what kind of health impact does all this have?
Yeah, Dr. Evaniuck mentioned that some of the health impacts when we look at people who have problems, which some scholars call it social jet lag. The idea that our social time or our clock time does not jibe with the movement of the sun. And it isn't just the amount of sleep that people get, it's when that sleep occurs in relation to the sun. And so some of these health effects include a higher risk of cancer, diabetes, dementia, stroke, obesity. And these are all correlated with the problem. And there is an international natural time alliance that is lobbying world governments, especially Europe, whose time zone boundaries are even more eccentric than ours are, to have more natural time zones. So the science is really clear. We just stumbled upon the latest malady, as Dr. Evaniuck said, the problem of driver alertness and effectiveness. Yes?
Has this study been?
So this is actually one of the reasons why we have done this press release, because we do desire to extend some of these conversations and begin some discussions that need to happen, because policy, good policy anyways, should be a process of ongoing discussion. So our hope is that those discussions can start with some of this work.
That makes it a great question. And I would just add that there is an International Natural Time Alliance. I was able to participate in a conference that they held in Barcelona last fall. And one of the things that I contributed was this problem of highway deaths, in addition to the prior research that we talked about on health. And We could say perhaps coincidentally or perhaps not, the second of 4 recommendations from this Barcelona conference was that Europe should establish more natural time zone boundaries. And in the United States, we have an organization that is part of the International Alliance, and it is called Save Standard Time. And they're headquartered in Arizona, and they provided the map that we are touting. It's a little bit prettier. Ours is more of a scientific academic map, but JP of Save Standard Time created this representation of it that is just so vivid. So yes, we are interested in policy. In fact, a lot of the material that we learned to be able to do this study came from a study that was done by a couple of Italian economists. And one thing that I noticed was that their research article was purely scientific. They didn't have any policy recommendations. Well, we're not afraid to call a duck a duck if it quacks and if it waddles. We do appreciate the policy implications of this research, and so we are supporting Save Natural Time to have better time zone boundaries in the United States. Stacy Clufton?
Yeah.
Jeff Gentry, Jayson, Evaniuck. Thank you so much for helping give us a great spot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know they want to do individual interviews, but can I have a copy of your news release?
Absolutely.
Just because I'm interested myself.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, I don't know where you guys want us for this sort of thing.
Yeah, choose a spot.
Did I give you my business card? I don't believe so.
Everybody ought to get one of these.
Go ahead and trade you
great.
mine as well.
Thank you. Excellent.
All right. And like I said, I'm just radio, so I don't